It was a crisp evening in Las Vegas, the kind where the desert breeze carried a refreshing chill. The neon lights flickered along the famous strip, but just outside the bustling city, in a quieter neighborhood, a former heavyweight champion was about to have an encounter that would change two lives forever. Mike Tyson, dressed casually in a black hoodie and jeans, had just finished a late dinner at an upscale steakhouse. He enjoyed solitude these days, preferring quiet meals over the crowded chaos of casinos. As he walked towards his Rolls-Royce, he pulled out his keys and unlocked the door. That's when he heard it. "Hey, hands where I can see them." Tyson turned his head slowly. A police officer, a tall and broad-shouldered man in his early 40s, stood 10 feet away with his hand on his holster. His name tag read Officer Daniels. His eyes were cold, filled with suspicion. Tyson sighed, already knowing where this was going. He had dealt with this kind of thing before. "Something wrong, officer?" Tyson asked calmly. "You don't belong here. What are you doing?" Daniels demanded, stepping closer. His grip on the holster tightened. Tyson frowned. "I'm getting into my car. Just had dinner." Daniels wasn't convinced. "Step away from the vehicle. Hands on the hood. Now." The former champion exhaled sharply, trying to keep his temper in check. He had spent years working on controlling his emotions. He wasn't about to let a cop's ignorance ruin his night. "I didn't do anything, officer," Tyson replied. Daniels drew his gun. "On the car now." Tyson's hands curled into fists for a brief moment before he relaxed them. He had learned in life that reacting with aggression only make things worse. He turned and placed his hands on the hood of the Rolls-Royce. "You carrying any weapons?" Tyson smirked. "Just these." He flexed his fingers slightly, but his voice remained even. Daniels ignored the joke and roughly patted Tyson down. He reached into Tyson's pocket and pulled out his wallet. Flipping it open, he scanned the ID. His eyes widened. "Mike Tyson," he muttered, looking from the ID to the man in front of him. He took a step back, stunned. "You're the Mike Tyson?" Tyson turned his head slightly. "The one and only." For a moment, Daniel seemed to wrestle with his thoughts. He had just drawn a gun on one of the most feared fighters in history, a man who had knocked out opponents with a single punch, a man who, if he wanted to, could dismantle him in seconds. Daniels cleared his throat. "Look, I didn't recognize you." Tyson turned fully, lowering his hands. "And if I wasn't me?" His voice was quiet but carried weight. "Would you still have had your face?" Daniels shifted uncomfortably. "It's protocol. You were acting suspicious." Tyson shook his head. "Suspicious? Because I'm a black man near an expensive restaurant? That's not protocol. That's profiling." Daniels opened his mouth to argue, but no words came out. Tyson stepped forward, closing the distance between them. "You see a big black guy in a hoodie and assume I don't belong? Didn't even ask for my ID before pulling a gun?" Tyson's eyes bore into Daniels. Daniels exhaled sharply. "Maybe we can just forget this happened?" Tyson chuckled. "Oh no, we're not forgetting this." The tension was thick. Other people in the parking lot had started to take notice. Some pulled out their phones, recording. Daniel's face flushed. Tyson crossed his arms. "How about this? You put that gun down, and I'll teach you a real lesson." Daniels frowned. "What do you mean?" "Ever been in the ring?" Tyson asked, tilting his head. Daniels hesitated. "I used to box a little. In the academy." Tyson grinned. "Oh, then this should be fun." An hour later, they were in a private boxing gym nearby. Tyson had called in a favor, and the place had been cleared out, except for a few trainers. Daniels had reluctantly agreed, knowing that refusing would only make him look worse. They stepped into the ring. Daniels wrapped his hands, nervous, but trying to play it cool. "Don't go easy on me," Daniels said, trying to sound tough. Tyson laughed. "Oh, I won't." The bell rang. Dodged effortlessly. Another jab. Another miss. Tyson circled him, light on his feet. Then, in a blur, he moved, dodging left, ducking right, and with a controlled tap, landed a body shot that sent Daniels stumbling back. Daniels gasped. Even though Tyson had pulled the punch, the power was undeniable. "You feel that?" Tyson asked. Daniels nodded, still catching his breath. "That's a fraction of what real pain feels like," Tyson continued. "Now, imagine living with that fear every day, not just in the ring, but walking down the street, going to the store, getting in your car." Daniels swallowed hard. He wasn't just fighting Tyson in that momenta, was fighting his own biases, his own ignorance. The round continued. Tyson didn't hit him hard, but he made sure Daniels understood the difference between power and control. He let Daniels throw wild punches, then easily dodged them, showing how futile aggression without understanding truly was. By the end of the session, Daniels was exhausted, drenched in sweat, and full of new awareness. Tyson clapped him on the shoulder. "Lesson learned?" Daniels nodded, breathing heavily. "Yeah, more than one." Tyson smiled. "Good. Next time, when you see someone like me, maybe you won't reach for that gun so fast." Daniels lowered his head. "I won't." And for the first time in a long time, he truly meant it.